Hey guys, what's up? This is me, Sean from pt.4 and youtube.com/Pete, and today I'd like to show you guys a little comparison of the MyTouch 4G slide versus the MyTouch 3G slide. You guys can see the 3G slide's on the left, MyTouch 4G slide's on the right. So real quick, this is the hardware comparison. The software comparisons are up or should be up by the time I upload this. So if we zoom out a little bit, you guys can see at the top of each, we'll start there. You have the speaker grill on each. This is very similar to the 4G slide. Excuse me, the MyTouch 4G, the 4G slide's speaker grill. On the left, you have your light and proximity sensors, and you have your VGA front-facing camera along with your notification LED. You have your MyTouch branding and a beautiful 3.7-inch Super LCD 800 down by 40 across WVGA screen with a 250 pixel per inch resolution. You have your home, menu, back, and jeans button there. Optical trackpad in the middle, and you have a nice little bezel at the bottom. Silver bezel around the device. On the MyTouch 3G slide's front, you have the light and proximity sensors over there, notification LED in this little area up here, speaker grill. You have your MyTouch branding there, a lot different between the two. You have a 3.4-inch screen. This is HVGA, which is 480 down by 320 across, 163 pixels per inch, if I'm not mistaken. So much higher pixel density on this one, and the viewing angles are much better because this is TFT LCD, this is Super LCD. So much better. Sony made this panel, by the way. You have a home, menu, back, and jeans button, very similar to the other arrangement on the 4G side. And you have your optical trackpad there. The 4G slides is smaller, but it actually protrudes out a little bit more. Has a nicer, more tactile feel. On the left side of each device, well, I'll show you guys that. You have your volume rocker buttons. And you also have your micro USB on the left side of the MyTouch 4G slide. On the bottom of the 4G slide and the 3G slide, on the bottom of the 4G slide, your lanyard port and microphone. On the bottom of your 4G slide is your micro USB and your microphone. Let's see if we can give you guys some more light here. On the right side of each, you have a dual stage silver camera button. And that's absolutely it on each of them. You guys can see the camera buttons. They're very clicky. I do prefer the 3G slides to the 4G slides. Excuse me, it's the opposite. I prefer the 4G slides to the 3G slides. And on the top, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack and a power button on the 4G slide. And on the top of the 3G slide, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and you also have your dedicated camera button. On the back of each, you can see you have your speaker grill at the top here next to the camera, and it's at the bottom here. If we move the camera up a little bit, on the bottom here on the 4G slide, you have your HTC branding on the back. You also have a dedicated microphone for active noise cancellation, and you also have your 8-megapixel camera sensor here on the 4G side. This is 8 megapixels f2.2 sensor, which is great for low light photography. It records in full high definition 1080p. So overall, this is one of the most touted features of the device. It's touted for its camera taking abilities, and it's just really nice. I mean, it has a bunch of specifications labeled, such as 8 megapixel autofocus. And then you have some other millimeter specifications around the bezel of the camera lens, which actually sticks out. You have dual LED flash here on the 4G slide, which actually I found the single LED flash on the 3G slide to be one of the most powerful I've ever seen on a phone, even with a single LED status. And you have your MyTouch branding at the bottom with your lanyard port there at the bottom of the 3G slide. So next we'll pop off the battery. You have a little slit here at the bottom of the device to take off that battery. Here, I'll take this off camera real quick and tell you guys that this is a 1,300 milliamp hour battery. You guys can see the back of the device. Put the back cover back on. Flip it over. And take this off camera. And this is a... They both have plastic battery covers. You can get the 3G slide in black, white, and I believe it's a maroon color. But now I believe black's the only available color. The MyTouch 4G slide though comes in black and khaki, and this is a khaki version. The MyTouch 4G slide has a 1,520 mAh battery, so a little bit of a bigger battery. On the 4G slide, they both have micro SD card ports and SIM card slots. Next we'll just run over the specs real quick. There's an MSM 8860 processor on the 4G slide that happens to be dual core. Real quick, we'll turn both on. That's a 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor on each. Oops, we didn't hit that one. There we go. That happens to be a 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor on the 4G slide, with 768 megabytes of RAM, and the 3G slide has a 600 megahertz single core processor with 512 megabytes of RAM, 1 gigabyte of ROM on this, 512 megabytes of ROM here on the 3G slide. On the 3G slide, you get about, I'd say about 60 megabytes of available application storage, so it's very small. Here you get about 1 gigabyte of application storage. On the 4G slide, Bluetooth 3.0 here, 2.1 with EDR and A2DP support. On the 3G slide, also this has EDR and A2DP support. There's Wi-Fi 802.11a, b, g, and n on the 4G slide, on to the right. And on the 3G slide, you don't have that kind of support. You only have, we'll take this off camera real quick. You only happen to have the 802.11a, b, g, and that's it. You don't have the N support. So surprisingly, it actually took a little bit longer for the 4G slide to boot up than the 3G slide, but that's also because I have 500 megabytes of applications installed on the 3G slide, the 4G slide, whereas I only have 50 megabytes of applications stored on the 3G slide. And actually, those are from fresh boots. When you use the mode called soft boot, which is actually when you just power off the device by pressing the power off button, which turns the device off, it puts on a low power state, so that way you basically are able to get back into the device literally seconds after you turn it off. So we'll show you guys real quick here. You guys can see in my software comparisons the difference in the screens. So I'll show you guys what I was talking about there. We'll flip this up real quick. Power it off. They both have USB, micro USB ports, and they're 2.0. So you guys can see here you got power off, airplane mode, and restart. We'll click power off on each. And it says okay, your phone will shut down, okay. So you can see now it's in that low power state. We'll give it about 5 seconds on each. This is completely off. And this hadn't turned off yet. So now it happens to still be on. There we go. Now it's off. We'll give it about 5 seconds now. 5 seconds from each, and we'll tilt it back a little bit. Okay, now we'll launch both of them. We'll launch both of the devices' cameras, and we'll press the camera now. We'll press the power button to turn it on, and you guys can see here the MyTouch 4G slide's up and ready to go. You just have to unlock it, and the 3G slide's still having to boot up. And you can see it's already connected to Wi-Fi, ready to go, much faster than the 3G slide. So anyways, this is a hardware comparison. Again, much better hardware. I don't know if I went over this, but there's a 5 megapixel camera with 1 LED flash and VGA video capture. And this is a VGA front-facing camera on the top of the MyTouch 4G slide right there. So anyways, much better hardware on the 4G slide. It also has 4G, 14.4 megabits down. This is 7.2 megabits down. So much better hardware, and feels much more solid. It's a little bit more heftier and thicker. Anyways, this is me, Sean, from pt.4. Use the comments to send Pete, and I'll talk to you guys in a later video. Have a nice day, and hope that this helped you guys out. Anyways,